All right, hey everybody, how we doing today? I hope you're doing great. This little video is going to be about wintertime fishing, primarily up here in the Northeast. I mean, we're kind of getting down to it right now. We're talking end of December, beginning of January, almost 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. I mean, I'm wishing you the best 2025 ever. I mean, I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people are. So wintertime fishing in the Northeast, cold water. Could be anywhere but cold water. What's cold water? If it's almost hard enough to walk on, okay? So we get hard water up here. So obviously this is not gonna be hard water, but it's not far from it. Upper 30s, low 40s, okay? The tackle I'm gonna show you is definitely for water temperature that is, you know, say 50s and below. Okay, so gonna spend some time on Cape Cod. I talked about, we did a little video, you might have seen it or will see it, on crankbait fishing. So that's great. You know, I'm gonna get down to Cape and hope to catch a bunch of fish on a crankbait, a variety of different crankbaits, and that's fantastic. Okay, but you know how plans go. All right, so I don't know what kind of conditions I'm going to be faced. I don't know at this point if it's going to be sunny, cloudy. Certainly not going to be fishing in a heavy rain this time of year. It's just a little too dangerous with the temperatures. But I'm expecting, you know, water temps in the upper 30s, low 40s at best. And it could be, like I said, it could be cloudy, sunny, whatever it may be. Maybe a little breezy. Down the Cape it typically is. Okay, so if I'm not getting bit on the crankbait, I need to, you know, obviously the name of the game is to catch fish, right? Get bit, catch fish, put them in the boat. Just trying to create some good content for you guys. So I'm going to show you what I've de-rigged from Oklahoma, Grand Lake of the Cherokees, and so I've tailored my tackle, rods, reel, line, and baits to any wintertime fishing that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so if I can get out there, if the weather cooperates, this is what I'm going to throw. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what I've got tied on here. I got a couple different jerk baits. Okay, just in bait fish color. That, okay, shallow diving, deep diving, depending on again where I'm fishing. Very translucent type baits. These are basically on 7-foot medium. In the line size, typically I like throwing a jerkbait on 8, 10, 12 pound tests, no more than 12 pound tests. And again, it depends on what I'm fishing around. If there's any standing timber or logs or, you know, what have you, or if there's a weed bed, if I'm jerkbait fishing alongside a weed bed or something like that, you know, and they're gonna pull me into that, whatever. I mean, I don't mind going to 12 pound test. Again, you know, it's fluorocarbon, so it has a sinking property to it as well as invisible underwater. So you can get away with 12 pound tests. That's also going to limit the depth. If I want to throw a jerkbait in, you know, 5 feet of water, then I can, if I'm fishing it on 10 or 8, it's going to hit the bottom. If I fish it on 12, it won't hit the bottom. Okay, so that's on that jerkbait right there. So I manage the depth of these two jerkbaits with the line size. Okay, so I got lighter line over here to get this deeper diving jerkbait a little deeper, and I got a little heavier line over here to keep the shallow from going, you know, too deep. Okay, keep it honest, keep it shallow. All right, follow that. Okay, so you can't go fishing in the wintertime without a jig. Again, it's small, compact. This is a 1/2 ounce jig, but a full skirt. And I've talked about this before when you're jig fishing. I have a small chunk trailer on here. Not a lot of action, but just enough. okay, just enough to give the bait some bulk and just a tiny bit of action, you know, on the bait, okay? And that's, you know, for my head right there, that's a confidence color, that's a confidence jig, that's a confidence combination, okay? And the jig is on 20-pound fluoro. Another jig, a little bit more of a finesse jig, little finesse 1/4 ounce rubber jig, and not much of a trailer at all. And it's, again, it's very, very subtle. It's, you know, not a lot of flash, not a lot of movement. I've talked about this in the past where, you know, cold water, I want very little action in my baits if I can achieve that. Okay, so just a really just a 1/4 ounce jig, nothing fancy. I am also going to throw a glide. All right, and it's something that I can work really, really slow. And believe it or not, in the wintertime, I've had most of my success on bigger swim baits and glide baits in cold water, in 40-degree water, okay? And it's just, those you just see those big fish will just come right up. And, you know, I think they're real used to seeing bait fish in general struggle in the wintertime, whether it's a shad, whether it's a shiner, yellow perch. When we get a cold spell up here and the water gets cold, some of these bait fish will get shocked, and when they're dying, they're just, you know, they don't just die, you know, that they're like, oh, you know, I'm okay, nope, not so much, you know, and that gets the bass's attention. That's what that imitates. Can't go fishing in the Northeast without head and sonar, okay, very blade bait. You know, just a couple of them that I use. Dale Wyman, who's moved down south now, makes a really great bait, and I throw it a lot. Okay, so blade bait. Again, you know, I talk about it a lot. It's a bait. That bait right there stays in one place for a very long time, and when you do move it, it's a real tight, real sharp action. You fish that bait. This is a little heavier line. This is probably 14, 15 I got it on. And bait caster, I've gone from spinner reel to bait caster on this particular bait just so I can stick them, just so I can get the hook in the fish. Typically smallmouth, they got a really hard mouth when they eat it. And they feel a lot like a wet dish towel on the bottom. You know, there's not a lot of fight in the fish when the water's that cold, but that bait right there does a tremendous amount of work in a real small space. Okay, so I'm casting that out. I'm also fishing this not really horizontal like a crankbait or a jerkbait. This is more of a vertical presentation. A lot of times I do like to put the boat shallow, cast out deep, let it go to the bottom, and just pick it up. You know, a lot of times fish will swim over to this and eat it off the bottom. But very little, just move it just a few inches. It vibrates very tight, goes back down. I like to go deep. I like to pull it up shallow. It stays closer to the bottom when you are shallow, throwing out deep and pulling it up the bank versus, and you certainly can do this, and I do it a lot myself, be out deep, throw shallow and work it down. Okay, but it does, depending on the steepness of the bank, it pulls off the bank on the bottom, and it could fall several feet and then stop, you know, so it's moving a little bit more. But blade bait, head and sonar, can't beat it. Oh, Ned head, okay, spinning rod, a little Ned, okay. When I'm out there and I'm trying to catch fish the way I like to catch fish, on what I like to catch fish on, and that's not working, I'm pretty stubborn and I'll stay with things probably a lot longer than I should. But when I do finally figure out that I'm not getting bit the way I'm fishing, the way I want to catch them, I'll throw this little Ned, and then that, of course, you know, all is good in the world then, you know, because you've got a bite and you've caught a fish, which is the goal. All right. And then, of course, you know, you probably saw in another video, shallow diving crankbaits that are thin, narrow profile. Okay, 7'2" crankbait rod, 12-pound test fluoro. Again, it's a bait that's doing a lot of work in a short period of time. Very, very tight wobble, and you're casting out, getting it down to where you want it, and then you pull, and then you can slow retrieve that. But I just basically like to pull it with the rod tip, pause it a lot, and just have that, you know, that type of action right there. All right, there's a medium. Again, narrow bait, tight wiggle. This is probably 8-9 foot deep, pretty much standard crankbait. 12-pound test fluoro. Again, 7'2", medium heavy rod. Just to get down there a little bit deeper. Again, a greenish baitfish color, orange throat on it. Go now. Another flat side. I love throwing the flat sides in the wintertime, okay? But you need either a spinning rod or a very light action rod to throw them. So this is a medium action, 7-foot medium action crankbait rod. And again, 6'2" to 1, 7 to 1 retrieve reel, but flat side, okay? Just a little flat sided bait, tight wiggle. Okay, get down to it. Showed this bait in another video. Shad Rap, Rapala Shad Rap balsa bait. Got a lot of different colors and sizes of this bait. Probably one of the best cold water baits, you know, out there. Doesn't weigh anything. So I'm throwing it on a spinning rod. This is like, you know, I have it on, you know, 8 to 10 pound test fluoro leader with like 12-pound braid mainline green. And this is not a steady retrieve. This is cast out, reel it down a little bit, and then sweep your rod. Just pull it, you'll feel it. You'll pull it maybe a foot and a half, let it sit, pull it, reel up the slack, pull it, reel up the slack. Slow, tight wobble on that bait, and they just eat it. I mean, you can see the top of this thing is all, man, it's just all chewed up. Love it. And last but not least, old school, original wiggle wart, orange brown craw, clear belly, 12-pound test, fluoro, red label, 7-foot, you know, this is a 6XD crank rod by Lew's. I absolutely love it. Just a phenomenal crankbait rod. You know, 6'2" to 1 to 7'1" retrieve reel. And this bait right here just absolutely excels in water that's 50 degrees or less. I've had a ton of success on it. Okay, so I got to have it tied on for my winter lineup. So that's my winter lineup. I mean, can you catch fish on other baits in the winter? Absolutely. The scoper guys are catching them on the little minnow. You know, drop shot will catch them. That's a great way to keep a bait in one spot for a long period of time in front of the fish. You can certainly do that. You know, whatever you like to do, but that's just what I like to do. This is how I catch them in the wintertime, and I'm hoping to get out at least a couple days here in the first week of the new year, you know, down the Cape, just to bring you some more content. I hope that I can put some fish in the boat for you and just kind of show you how some of these baits work, and you know, give us something to look forward to in the spring. Okay, this will just keep us entertained for a while here. All right, so thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you comment, ask me anything, and I'll get back to you. I promise. Happy New Year. We'll see everybody real soon.